What's up,
Hola,
everybody?
How you doing?
Welcome to our hand pan showcase. We got some awesome new instruments here for you today, and we're stoked to share them with you. I'm AJ.
I'm Jerry.
And we are from Didge Project. All of the pans you're gonna see here today are available in our store, and we've got lots of great stuff on our channel, so hit subscribe, follow us, and stay tuned for more cool things.
Sounds good.
So today we are checking out a number of new hand pans, including this Tacta C# harmonic minor Mutant. We've got here a Rav Pan F Romanian Hijaz. We've got the Meinl Sonic Energy Octave Steel Tongue Drums. We've also got the Hamgam, brand new cool wooden instrument. So we're gonna go through all these instruments today, tell you about the features, and give you a little sound demo and just check out some cool new instruments. So we're gonna start with this Tacta C# harmonic minor, and it is just, it's such a beautiful instrument. This is a stainless steel instrument that it's one of the best sounding instruments. You can hear the harmonics are so gorgeous on it. Just the quality of sound on Tacta's instruments are some of the best we've seen around. I would say this is probably like one of the more premium instruments we have in our store. They're pricey, but the quality you're getting out of them is just phenomenal. And this has these 5 upper super high notes. This is like a new trend in hand pan making right now. You're seeing a lot of these come out by the different makers. One thing to note is that the ding, this low note in the middle, is actually the 5th. So it's actually a G sharp. This is the tonic here. So you have the C# here. That's like the basic C# minor chord.
It's amazing. I would say one of the first things that comes to my mind is like there's just options available. And also, I was playing this drum a few nights ago here, and other people were in the room and they thought I was playing like multiple hand pans at once. That's what is a really cool phenomenon with it, is you basically have like, with this second octave, you have, it just feels like a whole other layer on top of the other hand pans. So we were really adamant that we wanted to get one of these Mutant pans because they're just unique, and even if you've played a hand pan before that has a set standard like 7, 9 notes, whatever, this is a totally different experience because all of a sudden you can get, you're getting kind of enamored in playing these notes here, and all of a sudden, oh whoa, there's a whole other, just complete like doubles the options. So it's a really special and really unique instrument. It's not the kind of thing that I've seen too often. A lot of times when I've traveled around, I tend to just see people playing like 7-note, 9-note hand pans. This is something that's like really unique, and it just expands your mind into many different varieties of different melodies and different rhythms, and options are pretty. It's a great way to not get bored with a hand pan, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I also want to mention that this spans the C# harmonic minor scale in 2 full octaves. So you have pretty much just so much content to develop, and there's so many harmonies and melodies and chords you can come up with that a lot of hand pans only have 6 tones. This actually has 7 tones repeated multiple times. So let's move on to our next drum. What do we got here, Jerry?
We said this was the F Hijaz, right?
Yeah.
So let's play it for a second. 12 notes in the ding on there. So again, a lot of variety, a lot of options, a lot of ways to be really creative and not get stuck and just feel that you're not falling yourself too much into a single loop or track, and that there's just ways to expand, which is sort of what everyone wants out of an instrument, is to not feel you're getting boxed into something. Having extra notes just makes a whole world of difference as a player. The wrap pans are phenomenal hand pans. They do just a really good job. The way it feels, the sturdiness of it, the way it's built, I would recommend it. And it's cool too because I have a D minor Hijaz scale that I bought a long time ago from Pan Art. And yeah, it's a scale that I really connect with because it has this Middle Eastern kind of mystical vibe. It's kind of eerie. What I also get out of playing these two drums with the Mutant smaller notes is that it's almost like there's a piano playing too, which is really cool because you have these, just sounds like a piano to me, which I like a lot. So once again, the diversity and range of notes allows you to be really creative, and the scale here with this kind of Middle Eastern Hijaz just adds a really like mystical kind of eerie vibe to it that is pretty catchy to the ear in many ways.
I don't know if I have too much to add, although I will say the build quality, like this brass rim, is such a nice touch, and it's super smooth and durable, and it's going to help protect your pan. I just love that Middle Eastern vibe that you get out of it, you know? I would say it's pretty intuitive to kind of figure out where the chords are too. Like I actually never touched this pan until just before we started recording today, and I just started playing and I was able to get it to sound like pretty cool and get the vibe, get that Middle Eastern vibe without having to like really study it. The makers are just geniuses these days, how they're choosing the layouts, where to put the notes and everything, and a lot of fun, this guy.
Just to add what you're saying, it's having more notes doesn't make it more difficult to play. Like what you're saying, it's intuitive, it's pretty easy, anyone can pick it up. There's no reason if you're a beginner to be intimidated by the fact that there's more notes. It only just gives you more options. It's not like it's more challenging or something like that.
Yeah, the vast majority of these pans are designed to be able to play in a specific scale or mode. So pretty much most sequences of notes will sound good with one another. The only thing is, the more you know music theory, the more you study it, the more you play and kind of like figure out what chords you can get, what the different harmonies are when you combine different notes on these pans, you're just gonna just fuel your music and make your music come out even better. So you might hear a lot of hand pan players playing chords, playing melodies, and playing like what sounds like very melodic type of music, and that you can figure out with any pan, and these are great examples of pans you can explore and really get into some niche type of sounds with that. All right, so let's move on to our next new item, which is the Hamgam. This is from a maker in Germany, I believe, named Majid. And these are super cool. They are not metal, obviously. These are all 100% wooden instruments. I say 100%, but there's some hardware in here, and there's these plastic clicky things. But let's just give it a listen. You've got a couple tone fields. There's about 7 different tone fields. One of them has a snare in it, and you'll notice the rest have the magnets here, which I'm going to show you what those do in a second. Fun to play. I mean, just like a lot of endless possibilities. You know, these are all wooden heads, so it's basically like you're playing a 7-toned cajon. A cajon is, you know, like a wooden box drum. One thing I'll show you with the magnets is when I slide the magnet, it actually makes the pitch change. It can make the pitch go a little higher. So that means every head with a magnet, 6 of them have magnets, 1 doesn't, but every head with the magnet is tunable. So you can basically tune the drum to whatever scale or mode you want. These are actually pitches. So I don't know off the top of my head, we didn't check what pitches these are, but we could, you know, explore that. And then this one has a snare on it. You hear that? So you can do more like drum beats that feature the snare. And then it's got these clicks here.
Yeah, these are pretty awesome. They're like very tribal, have this kind of like African sort of, you're in the jungle kind of vibe to them. Just has this really hard to explain the vibe beyond that to me, but it just has this kind of tribal feeling to it. And what's definitely awesome about it is that you could play this with any other handpan, any scale. It's totally compatible. It's basically like a handpan layout, but it's just a drum in a lot of ways. So it's not limited to a specific scale. And it has all these options, like AJ was saying, where you can change the pitch of each note. You have the side snares and you have the snare within this note. It's just an instrument that I think is perfect for accompanying other handpans. And it gives you this same sort of experience where you're able to really feel creative with the instrument as opposed to just playing like a djembe, which I love to play the djembe, but if you think about it, the djembe is just one circular head. Here you have many different heads, and then you can change the pitch of each one. You have the side snares, you have the snare. So there's a lot of things you can do with it that are creative, and yeah, it's a great accompaniment instrument, I would say for sure, and it expands the mind to think creatively and outside of the box in the same way that a handpan does.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like kind of like a bongo drum. Or there's kind of like an African type of orchestra type of sound. But I loved hearing you play because you're using the clicks a lot, and it's just kind of like, they just kind of come up very spontaneously. That was completely spontaneous and improvised, but
Yeah.
it shows how this drum can really just accompany anything, since it's not like getting in the way harmonically with what this drum is doing. So if you're in like a community of handpan players, or you got a friend and you both like to play pan drums, great drum to pick up to kind of like throw into the mix and just have some more options to play with.
Check out the
Yeah.
Meinl Energy.
Meinl Sonic Energy Octave Steel Tongue Drums. New release from Meinl just hit the US. Beautiful engraved drums. They got these nice engravings. They come with a pre-installed rope braid. They also come with a case and a pair of mallets. So it's a really sweet deal. They retail right now for $369.99. Just an incredible bargain for what you get. And one of the main features why they're called the Octave Steel Tongue Drum is because every note here actually has two tongues, lower octave and higher octave.
Requires a little bit more of a harder slap to get that higher octave, right? What I like about these is that just hitting one or two notes, not even necessarily rhythmically or in some kind of a pattern or anything creative, is just really soothing and really calming, and like opens you up to a creative headspace. Like, just that there, at least for me as a musician and an artist, it's just brings you to a place of like expansiveness and creativity. You don't need to do anything too complicated. I think that's what's awesome about all these drums is that, once again, I play the djembe. I love the djembe. I play it constantly. You know this. What is so cool about all these different instruments here is that your possibility to be so creative with it and to get so many different feelings and emotions to come out of them, and also like the simplicity required to do so, and essentially like the lack of musicianship, because these are instruments designed for people basically that are not musicians. But if you are a musician, or if you use this to become a musician, then like the options are endless and infinite to what you could do with it. It's a great first instrument for someone that wants to make music, that maybe is a little intimidated, but at the same time, like the complexity of things that you can do once you know music theory, once you know more complex rhythm patterns and paradiddles and all that good stuff, is pretty endless. So and in addition to these drums specifically, the visceral feel of them is just makes you want to play them. I don't know how more to explain that. You know, it's like they just have the way that the grain is on the cover of the metal itself, but then also the way that the ding has this little bubble and the way that the notes strike. It's just made in a really like very playable, and it feels really good to play it too at the same time.
Yeah, we've had some kids come over and check these out already, and they just start beating on it right away. Yep. And using the mallets is really fun. I'd love to do a little mallet demo. Super beautiful sound that anyone can do. Its mallets are so easy to play. Also, these two scales are totally compatible, so both models, the D Amara and the D Kurd, work perfectly together. just can't really beat the deal on these drums. I mean, for $369, you know, you got hand pans going up to $3 grand these days. Like, this thing is just such a bargain, and I think a lot of people are going to be getting these because they're just such an amazing deal. So
also, I was thinking earlier today when I was playing it, in terms of steel tongue drums, there's a lot of different varieties out there, and I've played a bunch of different ones. Next to the Rav drum, this is probably the best one that I've played that stands out to me. That's my honest opinion about it. This one definitely stands out. I played a lot of them. They look really cool. They have all this like sacred geometry design and stuff, and you pick it up and you're like, eh, it's nice. It has a certain vibe to it, but it doesn't really have the same resonance. These are legit. I like these a lot.
yeah, since we're on it, just show you the back real quick. You got these 3 rubber feet, and it also has this removable plug, which you could open, I guess, to let more sound out the bottom. Maybe you could stick a mic in there. Have to kind of experiment with it to see what you can do with that, but that's the underside. All right, so we went through some epic drums that are available to you, and a lot of great stuff out there. New releases all the time, some newer than others, but it's just great to hear them all together and to see the state of the hand pan tongue drum world evolving, and to just keep finding new cool stuff that we can bring to you through Didge Project.
Thanks for checking it out.
Yeah, also buy the Hand Pan Player t-shirt. All right, so we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and peace.